gentlemen, this is the Right Guys podcast, where Donald Trump dodges bullets like a superhero. And now your hosts, Josh Hammerling and Max McGuire.
Woo! Crazy weekend. Insane weekend. Welcome back to the podcast. Max here with Josh. We have a vice president.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance. Not who I would have chosen. Now, that's not to say that he isn't a conservative, doesn't have conservative chops. I would have probably gone somewhere to try and unite the never Trumpers, the middle, strategically.
Yeah, I hear that one, but I don't think
if the goal is to win an election, it can't be. If your answer is, well, I don't like that person, really, it's, well, who do you like worse, that person or Joe Biden? Right. I mean, that's the calculus. Who's worse, Joe Biden or that potential VP? So on that logic, I mean, there were rumors today, Josh, of a potential unity ticket, RFK Jr. with Donald Trump, which would have been over. I mean, if that had happened, cancel the Democrat convention, not even worth having it.
Yeah,
Donald Trump
all the money
points
into the smaller races down ticket, and you just mail it in, right? You just put the stamp on the envelope and send it out. But
obvious problem is that RFK Jr. is not conservative. So you wouldn't
be betraying the core of the party.
Yeah. You'd be betraying the core of the party. You would win, but the question would be at what cost? At what cost would you win? He's picked J.D. Vance, who has an incredible story. Growing up in a kind of a broken household, mom leaves his dad, raised by his grandparents, gets out of high school, leaves town, joins the Marine Corps, comes back, graduates Ohio State, goes to Yale Law, success in venture capital, comes home to fight the opioid crisis, becomes a politician, right? All good story. Problem is, he once called Donald Trump America's Hitler. So that's something that he is going to have to explain.
Sure.
Now, if that's the push, that's like, listen, guys, I was never Trump at one point, and I saw the light. You can too. That's one thing, right? Mm-hmm. If the talking points are, hey, listen, I thought he was going to destroy the country too, but then I sat back and watched what he was doing, and it was tremendously successful. That's a compelling argument.
Yeah.
As long as he is legit in his support for the president now. I mean, we'll have to see. But he's on his way to Wisconsin.
Come on, man. We're going to give him the do-over card. We're going to give him a do-over card. Like, you know what? That was a long time ago. You've learned. Move on.
He has to explain it.
Yeah.
Like he I'm sure he can.
In the vice presidential debate, I guarantee you that's going to come up as a talking point.
Oh, and the minute it does, he's going to say, Kamala Harris, you said that Joe Biden hates black people. Why are you on his team?
Yeah, right. So,
I mean,
it seems to be kind of a thing that's happening in politics. Anytime you're running anywhere and you're doing anything, sometimes you have to take these odd stances.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why people hate the disingenuousness of politics, because people are so willing to change all the time, right? And yeah, it's going to be a tough one to address. But again, are people going to remember it after that particular question? Right? It's not going to make it's going to disappear. It's water under the bridge.
Here's a never Trumper, Heath Mayo, saying on Saturday before the blood in Pennsylvania had dried, J.D. Vance blamed Joe Biden for the shooting without knowing anything about the shooter or his motive. Picking Vance is further indication that Trump lacks the judgment to be president, has zero interest in national unity. They keep throwing this out. It's national unity.
Yeah.
They asked the White House, they asked KJP, I'm going to see if I can pull it. They asked her if Joe Biden's going to stop calling Trump a threat to democracy. And she didn't say no. She didn't say no.
Wow.
And I don't think they're going to stop, because that's their campaign message. How do you rebrand your campaign message? And just to be absolutely clear, title of today's podcast, if you're watching it live, might change by the time we put the audio up, but the leftists caused this.
Yeah.
Absolutely the case. And before anyone says, oh, the shooter was a registered Republican, the shooter checked a box, registered Republican. And then you know what he did on Joe Biden's inauguration day? He donated to Progressive Turnout, on Act Blue,
Mm.
a donation portal exclusively used by Democrats and progressive causes.
Interesting.
So, how many Republicans do you know that are voting for turning out more progressive Democrat voters on Joe Biden's inauguration day? Not a lot. Not a lot. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say this guy wasn't your card carrying Republican.
The last time I checked, the Democrats were not using unity at all on their platform when talking about Donald Trump. I can't remember a single instance since he ran in 16.
Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden, an assassination attempt actually happens on him. People act on the party's recommendation, essentially. And now they want unity. I don't think they get to have unity right now. Because if they spent all their time going after the right and Republicans, and now they want us to try to make nice with them for unity after they pulled that kind of stunt, I don't think I'm on board with that anymore. I don't think I'm going to be very unity driven myself. And that's my personal feeling.
And it's almost like, I mean, Donald Trump was shot. Some people are like he was grazed.
No,
he was shot.
You were shot.
He was shot in the ear. And thank God there's lots of studies out there on the internet how at that very last minute he turned his head. And if he hadn't, that bullet, based on the trajectory, would have blown out the back of his skull. It would have pierced his brain. He'd be dead. It was instantaneous like this that just slightly moved that ear a little bit. He would have been dead. He would have been. So he was shot, right?
Yeah.
Has there ever been someone who was shot and the media's first thing was to call for them to apologize? Because when they say both sides need to tamper down the rhetoric, they're saying that Donald Trump needs to apologize for being shot. I'm sorry. Yeah. I thought we don't victim blame. I thought that the left was against victim blaming. Oh, you deserved it because your skirt was so short. Oh, you deserved it because you had a lot of cleavage on that dress. No, that is something that's universally like, no, we don't victim blame. He got shot in the head. And the first thing that the Democrats say is, oh, well, he didn't say sorry. He didn't apologize.
He has nothing to apologize
I'm sorry, what?
for. But that's sick. That's sick. Did you see the Denver Post's headline for the weekend?
No, well, I've seen a lot of them.
Oh, my God. I got to go look it up. I don't want to paraphrase.
Trump accidentally steps in way of bullet? Was that?
No. Trump. Dude.
While you're pulling that up, I want you to listen to Jamie Gangel on CNN.
Yeah.
This was her immediate reaction after Donald Trump was shot. Well, not immediate, but afterwards. Listen to this.
I want to say there was one thing that when I watched the tape, I found odd because of all of the heated rhetoric. And that is that after he was hit, former President Trump got up and said, fight, fight, fight. I think what we're hearing from people is that's not the message that we want to be sending right now. We want to tamp it down.
Yeah, I would just know one thing on this, to that point.
Just so we're clear, the man shot in the head, and she is Monday morning quarterback, that the shooting victim shouldn't have said, fight, fight, to reassure the crowd that he's okay. So not only are they expecting Donald Trump to no longer use any kind of forceful language after he himself was shot, but they were expecting that about face seconds after he was shot. They are condemning him for not focus group testing his language immediately after being shot. It's insane. It's insanity.
Oh my God. The man was just shot for his nation. Yeah. He just bled for his nation. How many presidents can say they've done that? Not many. There are some.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to come with? Fight? Yeah. If somebody's shooting at me, I'm not stopping the fight. I'm ending the fight.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at in this. It's time to end the fight. Because if you're going to come after the right and you're going to draw the blood, shot heard around the world. We didn't start this. So check out this Denver Post headline. Gunman dies in attack. Gunman dies in attack. That's what they went with.
How can we craft this headline so we don't even have to use Trump's name?
Yeah.
How can we do that?
They are just shill leftists over at the Denver Post. I was really sad when the Rocky Mountain News went. They were still kind of leftist, but they at least had held them in check to some degree. I mean, that's what happens when you have these monopolized papers and news agencies, right? You just get fed what they want you to hear. And how many of the news cycles are just leftist shills? I mean, shall we start going through the MSNBC list? How many times have they had somebody on their show calling Trump an existential threat to democracy?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
They've done nothing but create SEO on Donald Trump's name as like attaching him to Hitler, right? People cannot get information that doesn't make him look bad.
Here's the problem. And I was actually suspended from TikTok last night. I had a nice little TikTok live.
Watching.
Awesome. It was fun. And I actually figured out what happened. I brought someone on, a leftist, who was saying that Donald Trump wasn't actually shot. And that got me removed for misinformation. So it's a scam. And I was dismantling him, right?
Yeah.
But because I gave him a platform, I'm suspended for the next 6 days. So that was fun. But what I was trying to explain to these people, and they weren't getting it, right? They weren't getting it. What I'm trying to explain to them is you have two choices. Either Donald Trump is an existential threat, which means that Donald Trump, if he wins, you cease to exist. That's what existential threat means. He's either an existential threat, or I hope he gets well soon and gets back on the campaign trail. You can't have it both ways, right? No. Winston Churchill, learning that Adolf Hitler had survived an assassination attempt with Project Valkyrie, did not extend well wishes. I hope he gets better soon.
Yeah.
Right? Damn it. They almost got him. You can't have it both ways. So you have to choose. If you are saying get well soon, there's no room for violence in this country, then you are definitionally admitting that he is not a man deserving of this. Because if Donald Trump is half of the man that the left has painted him to be over the last 8 years, definitionally, he should have been a target. But of course he's not, right? You're saying, oh, he's going to round up all Latinos and put them in camps, right?
How many times? Yeah.
If he would, he's going to dismantle the Constitution. He is going to end democracy. The seas will boil over from global warming. If he was half of the man they claimed he was, they would be applauding. And this is how you know they kind of still think it. They're trying to straddle the fence. Just the sheer volume of people who were on social media Saturday and Sunday laughing, saying that they hope that the shooter would have gone a little bit over. I don't know if you've checked out Libs of TikTok, but they are claiming scalp after scalp after scalp today. They are posting all of the receipts, and they are getting people fired. It is incredible to watch in real time.
Bravo.
They are getting people fired. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can take a look at it. So here's Libs of TikTok. This one, New York Presbyterian Hospital. So they said, you sure has to be the most universally hated C word on the planet right now. And this nurse said, right, like, bro, work on your skills. So they tracked down to New York Presbyterian Hospital, and now she's been placed on leave.
Oh.
Full investigation.
Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad.
Yeah. They're going after this guy, Washington Athletic Club physical therapist. He's just deleted his account. They got this fire chief. This fire chief's gone. He resigned. He had said, a little to the right next time, please.
Wow.
A fire chief.
Wow.
So a firefighter was killed.
Unbelievable.
And a fire chief is over there saying a little bit to the right next time, please. He's now resigned, claiming that he has to resign because of death threats.
Max, it's like your worst enemy. You have, we'll use a good guy versus bad guy mentality, right? The bad guy is constantly attacking the good guy, and they're obviously the bad guy. And they convince everyone else that this good guy is a bad guy, and they just keep attacking, and something actually happens to the good guy, and then everybody clutches their pearls out of nowhere.
Yep.
right? All of a sudden, oh, we didn't know that was going to happen. We didn't
Yeah.
know telling you that Donald J. Trump was the devil was going to cause people to go
Yeah.
after him,
Yeah.
or
Who would
that he
think?
was a Nazi, or that he's gonna. I mean, how many times did Whoopi Goldberg
Yeah.
say that he's gonna put black people in jail?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Joey Behar, how many times does she say
Yeah.
that she feels like she's gonna get locked up because this guy is such a threat? And then
Here's
all of a
one.
sudden, somebody.
There's one. Cassie Martin, behavioral specialist at Sioux Falls School District. If only he would have had his scope cited incorrectly. She has now been fired. She's no longer employed. She's gone. Done. Posting a lot of these. A lot of people saying it's staged. Going after this realtor, saying if you're selling your home in Fairfax, change your realtor.
Yeah.
A teacher in Jeffco schools. Is this Colorado? Yes.
I don't think is that it. Oh my gosh.
Teacher Jeffco schools. Looks like he almost got taken out. Damn it, they missed. She says, my thoughts exactly. Jennifer Ripper, Semper Elementary School.
You know, this is what you get, though. This is what you get.
They haven't commented yet. School's out of session. Those chickens are going to come home to roost.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot.
She's not a teacher. She's not going to be a teacher anymore.
Like, I used to follow some people on certain social that I went to college with, and the stuff they were spewing, even professors. You know how many professors' jobs now might be on the line, right? Because if I was going to a university and I saw those kind of posts coming from my professors, I would feel almost attacked, like I was hated for being what I was. And I thought they were inclusive. Colleges are inclusive until they can't include me.
Listen to this guy. Hey, rednecks, the next shooter isn't going to miss. This was just to get your attention. I see it work quite well. By September 1, that man will be dead. And the half of us in this great nation who understand what a threat he is to democracy will stand and cheer. He claimed his page was hacked.
Oh, I would start lying too.
Yes. But he is no longer working with his company, Race On.
Oh,
he's been terminated.
That's too bad.
That's too bad. His hacked.
Right.
His oh yeah, of course. They just so happen to hack you in real time. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And hacked your phone as you were typing it in.
Lab assistant, OSF Healthcare. He is now also claiming his attack was hacked. Here's the interesting thing. He's using the same formatting, white text on red background, as what he says was hacked. So it's just his for formatting.
Oh my God.
Please ignore anything you might have seen or read.
Wow.
And they are investigating.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's just an update from 3 hours ago came through on someone that got kicked out from the New York Presbyterian Hospital. I mean, they're all going down, Max. They're all going down. And if you're HR at all these big companies, you just can't have this.
No.
Right?
No.
You've got to separate yourself.
No.
And now that's coming to roost, right? If you're going to spend the time attacking somebody and lying, like the vitriol lying that was going on, if you're going to do that, you got to be ready for what's going to happen. They thought there would never be repercussions. Ever.
So there's three types of leftists right now. They're the leftists like the people we just went through, who bought into the propaganda hook, line, and sinker and believe that Donald Trump is the reincarnation of Adolf Hitler himself. They are the ones who didn't get the memo and kept it up. Their lives are ruined now, at least in the short term. And don't threaten them. Don't do any violence against them. But if you happen to be in the area, feel free to let their employer know just who they're paying. Because in this world, if we're going to talk about unity, they might want to know about that. So there's the people who bought the propaganda and earnestly believe this. There's going to be the people who believe it, but understand they have to at least talk the talk right now. So they say we need unity while still believing that Donald Trump poses an existential threat. That seems to be what the White House is. What the Joe Biden White House is. Case in point, KJP refusing to commit to them stopping that rhetoric. And the third type of leftist right now is someone who never actually believed it, who just were saying it to try and rile people up, recognizing, oh my goodness, bullets have started flying. I'm a politician. I don't want this. and trying to legitimately ratchet it down. Those are the three types. But
God.
two of those three types, actually, they're all unacceptable because even the best of the three have been lying to the American people for political purposes.
Yeah.
Ratcheting up the temperature. I don't want to hear from Joe Biden it's time to lower the temperature when for the last 8 years, he and his ilk have been at the thermostat pushing the up button. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. You can't
And the
raise
idea that Donald Trump needs to ratchet it down. When Joe Biden's done 3 national TV events, he's now going to have counter programming tonight, an interview with Lester Holt. So Joe Biden will speak to the nation 4 times before Donald Trump gets out and speaks once. That tells you who needs to try and create the perception that they're ratcheting down the temperature. But they keep saying, oh no, Donald Trump.
Do you remember when stars started coming forward and saying things? Well, maybe we just start with people in government because the squad's had some stuff to say in the past.
Yep.
The squad has said some stuff like AOC. I mean, how many times did they all call him racist in government settings, right? There's records of them on the floor making these kinds of rhetoric comments to Donald Trump. Are they going to face any censure for those sort of things? Is there going to be punishments doled out for them? I think the best thing people can do is just vote them out and get rid of them now. But how does AOC, right before her election, how does she call for unity on her stump speech when she's called for people to get rid of this man because of his racist views? I don't know how she's going to reconcile that. There's no way that they should have any foot politically to stand on anymore. I just don't think, like, if the Democratic Party really want unity, they would dissolve themselves because they have become nothing but the party of disunity. They should be getting rid of themselves. People should stop sending their money to them right now. There should be a new party for liberals out there.
You see,
they deserve better.
Joe Biden already saying he talks big game, wants to raise taxes. That is not part of the Trump plan at all, and nothing Vance has ever said. But two things jump out to me here. Joe Biden and his team released a statement faster on the VP selection than they did when Trump was shot in the head. Let's just let that simmer. They were faster to put out a release after VP was selected than the 2 hours they waited to put out a statement after Donald Trump was shot in the head.
That's just low.
I also can't get past the fact that they're directing people to the progressive donation platform of choice of Donald Trump's would-be assassin. That the site, just so we're absolutely clear, Act Blue only takes Democrat progressive causes. If you are a Dino, a Democrat name only, they won't let you on. This is left. Just so we're clear, Joe Biden's fundraising platform is the same one that Donald Trump's would-be assassin donated to on Joe Biden's inauguration day. So let's dispatch the bullshit that this was a conservative Republican. Wow. Look at it this way. If the shooter was still alive today and he clicked on the link that Joe Biden just posted, he'd already have a username to donate with. He'd already be able to quickly donate because he's done it before.
Unbelievable. That look right there, it's like that's something that somebody should get fired for, or that's what they prefer.
Nothing they can do. It's the platform for the left. Every leftist organization and campaign runs through Act Blue.
Oh my God.
It's for the Republicans, it's called Win Red.
Right.
Win Red is what they use.
And think about all the marketing that they must put out and how much of that marketing said things like Donald Trump is dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. Think about all those emails that were sent saying those things, the text messages, the meetings that people are having over it. No wonder some lunatic goes out and tries to shoot the president. Look at all the vitriol they created. Hey, do you remember when Rashida Tlaib said we're going to impeach that MFer?
Yeah.
I mean, right there, she's already calling him a derogatory name way back then. You know, how far back does the attack on Trump go? Right? I mean, we've got all the way back to 2015-ish, 14. when he threw his name out there late in 14, I thought. And it's just grown since then. So how deep can these searches for all the anti-Trump stuff go? That's my challenge for you guys out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're good at those stuff, if you're internet sleuths, keep sharing that information.
Happening right now. Happening right now at the RNC. No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. It doesn't seem like they are lowering the temperature. It doesn't seem like they are lowering the rhetoric. Marching through the streets right outside the RNC, declaring that Donald Trump is a fascist. Spoiler alert, he isn't. Is exactly the opposite of tamping down the rhetoric. But this is what happens. This is what happens in this age when, these Democrats don't control these people. They have no control over them. They all book their flights, their buses, their trains into Milwaukee, right? The DNC can't tell them to stand down because the DNC doesn't control them.
Not at all.
And this is what they actually believe.
Well, why do they believe it?
They've been lied to.
Over and over again.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's disgusting to see. Because when Donald Trump got shot, I worried that people were going to storm the streets in anger at Democrats over this. But they didn't. They kept cool heads. They didn't go out and start marching in the streets and burning down buildings in a summer of love.
Yeah.
What you do get is these weirdos outside who are the misled masses that are being used as like an undocumented arm of the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
This is the Democrat Party. This is liberalism.
Yeah. And this is what also happened. I don't know if you were on Twitter a lot this weekend, Twitter, TikTok, all of the accounts that you're like, okay, these are Democrat accounts, right?
Yeah.
We talk about this a lot, how the parties are using influencers to push their own narratives, right? Paying these influencer accounts.
Yeah.
They didn't stand down over the weekend.
Oh my. Oh, we talked about this, like you said.
I was shocked. I was shocked to see that they all were still just going full steam ahead.
Oh my God.
That Donald Trump is unfit. Donald Trump is a radical. Donald Trump is a tyrant. He's a fascist. That's what happens when you decentralize your campaigns.
Yeah.
When instead of your surrogates being your own surrogates, you're paying outsiders to share some of your messaging. You prop them up, and then they don't have to stand down when you're standing down.
Yeah. In fact, their platform has grown and they've earned money because of it. Why would there be no incentive to? Was there even a reach out by the president? I remember he had remarks later that evening, I thought. But inside of there, he didn't, there's never any, they're not telling people to slow down and stop. They said everybody needs to unite. But unless somebody's going out there saying stop with this rhetoric, it's just going to keep going on.
That's what makes this all the more confusing. This was not their first draft.
No.
That Donald Trump's going to raise taxes on middle class. What the hell are you talking about?
Well, they had nothing else to go on because they were probably going to put him there both dangerous.
Everything else, he's a fascist. He's a threat to democracy. He's going to kill you. Right? This is it. And if you look, there was this, and then there was Joe Biden's Oval Office statement yesterday. And that's it. They haven't done anything else in the last 24 hours.
So
right?
It's disingenuous. Oh, please don't resort to violence, but ratchet it up while you're out there.
So this is why they can't walk away from Donald Trump as an existential threat, because they've tried to once today, and the best they could come up with is that Donald Trump and JD Vance want to raise your taxes. Let's click on this. Let's see. Now, everyone, I am clicking on actblue.com to see what's on it. Okay. This is not an endorsement.
No.
I'm not going there to donate. Let's see what it says.
I want to see what happens, though. We must defeat Donald Trump.
It doesn't say anything. It just says defeat him. Okay, so at least it doesn't say they're a danger to democracy.
Right.
It says we must defeat him. That's as cookie cutter as it gets.
Yeah.
You see, This is a terrible landing page because it doesn't actually get you riled up. It doesn't.
And in fact, for a moment, when I look at it, I think, am I donating for Donald Trump and JD Vance?
Yeah.
Like, I feel a little lost on it, on the user journey. So,
but you'll notice they still have it. They still didn't have time to remove the protect democracy. So even in this watered down post, that obviously wasn't what they were going to lead with, the tax discrepancies, policies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They still let slip through the idea that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. If he's not a threat to democracy, there's nothing to protect democracy from. So they still can't help themselves. They can't actually help themselves.
Wow. That's crazy. Remember when, well, there's been a lot of leftists, movie stars, influential billionaires that have been on the fence for a long time, right? You've had them kind of just supporting leftist causes, kind of trying to jump into that DEI thing, and they have these large businesses they run. They've taken some of these anti-Trump stances. So, I mean, if you're the general public, go out back and look at their stances on Donald Trump, the business point of view, and see if you still want to support him. I mean, Elon Musk is one of those dudes that I thought to myself, he's like on the border of being somebody who could be a Republican, right? Because he starts to see that they lie a lot and they've been suppressing information. This is an hour ago from Elon Musk. He says it's Trump Vance resounds with victory. I never thought that I would see an Elon Musk post where he would endorse a candidate, let alone after this, like he's promoting it, right? TikTok is now turning into the place where people go for more truth than anything else. They should probably go to Trump's Truth Social. I don't know. I'm not here to shill for any of them, but now people can actually get information. It's wild. And hell, do you remember when they were doing all the fact checks on Trump? Right. That the things they wouldn't fact check when people would say that he was racist, there would never be a correction. Right. I mean, what about all those like Snopes? Are they responsible for some of this violence then?
I mean, the leftists are still saying, "Oh, the shooter was a Republican. He donated to the same leftist donation platform that Joe Biden's using for his donations." But just so we're also clear, you can be a Republican. You want me to show you a Republican? I'll show you a Republican.
Back on the sidelines and say, "Oh, well, don't worry, this will all work itself out." They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
That's Rick Wilson, the co-founder of the Lincoln Project. He is a Republican. The Lincoln Project is made up of never Trump Republicans. So you can have a Republican checked box on your voter registration.
Yeah.
That man does. That man, he said this in 2015. He's been saying this for 9 years. Go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. So they're all like, "Oh, ha, 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 we got you. Shooter checked the box Republican. Couldn't possibly be a leftist." The Lincoln Project is made up of Republicans. And we're not going to put the shooter's face on camera because just in the off on the screen, just on the off chance that he wanted that notoriety.
Yeah.
But if you see him, he looks like the kind of person that would be groomed by the Lincoln Project.
Sure.
And the Lincoln Project did not stand down. They did not stand down over the weekend.
Wow.
Talking about decency, talking about the soul of the nation.
I mean, now it makes you feel like that everybody's had a deep hand of this. The whole never Trump, anti-Trump rhetoric resulted in Donald Trump being shot.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Their actions, their words have led to Donald Trump being shot. He's lived, thank God, because I talked about it when we went live on Saturday. There's always those pivotal moments in history where there's someone that comes along where you think is going to make incredible societal change.
Yeah.
And each one of them has been assassinated. This, I think, is one of those moments where we're on a deep societal, cultural change for the heart of America. And there were people that did not want that to happen.
Oh, yeah.
But he missed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So here's it's just going to be different now, right? Because we haven't lost that person. I hope we don't lose that person, because obviously, if one person's willing to do it, there might be others. So he's got to be vigilant. But we might be on the change of something huge here with American culture, man. And I think it's going to be something the left has a hand in, because they've been so anti-American that they have forced people who love America to be put into this box that makes them look like they're monsters. And if you call somebody monster long enough and you back them into a corner, either they're going to sit there and die, or they're just not going to take it. And that's where we're at. And this is the biggest flaw that the left has in this whole thing, is that they've created this, right? They now have to deal with the fallout. And I don't see people getting less unified over this on the right. I see them being like, there's going to be a reckoning politically for everybody who's dealt with this. There's going to be reckoning for people's businesses who dealt with it. There's going to be just reckonings. And I encourage people to get together and start forming groups, so you can go after people politically, go after them to the Megalmeans. But you're free Americans. If it's time for change, society and culture is ready for change when they're ready for it. And now is the time. They're ready for it. They want it, Max. So we have to be careful navigating this.
Have you seen the polls that came out? They are not from before. They're from before the shooting.
Before the shooting.
So before the shooting.
I have not seen
from the Times. Was this the Times? It's YouGov. So YouGov is one of the ones that gets tracked. I'm gonna put it on the screen. Oh, it's not letting me. It's frozen. Oh no.
Is it them or us? It's you. You want me to add it to the stage? I can do it.
I have it. Here it comes. Oh no. My whole screen's frozen.
I added the stage for you. Do you see it?
No, now I'm completely frozen.
I can hear you.
Am I moving? Can you see me moving?
Yep. You're good.
All right, so I'll read it. Can't scroll down, but we'll just go with it. Arizona, Trump up 7. Georgia, Trump up 4. Michigan, Trump up 2. Nevada, Trump up 4. North Carolina, Trump up 4. Pennsylvania, Trump up 3. I can't scroll down because my screen's frozen.
Those are interesting numbers here. I'll take it back to us and I'll try to bring it up again. What was
I might need to leave and come back.
Cool. I'll just fill until you get back. That's a really crazy set of polls. I mean, Donald Trump's on the way ahead of everybody else. Why am I by?
Oh, now I'm back.
There you go. Back. You didn't even really leave. It kind of screwed it.
No, I just did Control Delete and it fixed it.
Got it.
Pennsylvania up 3, Wisconsin up 5. The interesting thing about this is those same states. Look what happened. Look what the Senate races are like. Democrat leading in Arizona, Democrat leading in Michigan, Democrat leading in Nevada, Democrat leading in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Democrat leading in Wisconsin. That tells you a lot. That tells you who the swing voters in this are.
Yeah.
People who don't want to vote for Biden.
Yeah. Yeah, they may have, like, the Democrats this time may have a real problem with the split ticket. Because I think the red wave didn't materialize last time because of a bunch of split ticket votes. That stuff happens. And now the Democrats are probably going to feel that pinch. There's a good chance that Republicans take the House, the Senate, and have the presidency. And I hope it happens because, I mean, that's when you start getting rid of the things that are awful. And you have the power to do so.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the Affordable Care Act goes away. It should have gone away a long time ago, but they have 4 years to undo everything. And if they take 4 more years and they squander that time again with infighting, I'm going to get rid of the Republican Party after that. I mean, there's got to be something different.
This is why I thought maybe he might have picked Youngkin today.
Yeah.
For Virginia, poll just out of Virginia. Where is it? Donald Trump only down by 2. If the 2024 election were held today. Like, I looked at that and said, okay, if you pick Youngkin, puts Virginia in play, and that changes the map completely. Like, then you don't need to sweep the Rust Belt. You don't need to sweep the Southwest, right? It's just you can pick and choose a little bit here, a little bit there. But they didn't.
Max, I'm thinking it comes down to the guy that passed the interview.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what
Yeah.
happened is that they're all solid. You could have picked any one. But when JD
Yeah.
Vance sat there and talked to Donald Trump, they probably share something that he and Pence didn't have in the first one. That's a shared vision, an understanding, right? Respect that
Yeah.
is there. There's some loyalty there that I think Donald Trump is looking for. And he's a loyalty guy before everything else. Right. So I'm guessing that he got the job based on the interview. Any one of them would have been fantastic. You want someone in there that's not going to be like Kamala Harris. You want him to be able to actually run the country, right? And I feel like
Yeah.
JD Vance in a pinch,
He's
he knows
just
what to do.
he's gonna have to explain the never Trumpism. And if
Yeah.
he can explain
Yeah.
it in a way that converts never Trumps back to Trump, all for it. If it's just
Yeah.
gonna be even Trump's running mate hates him, right? You got to dispatch that. You got to.
Yeah.
Here, this is a Polymarket, which is betting odds right now. Based on this is people's money. This is people's money. What do they think the results of each state are going to be? Not prognosticating. I wonder
Yeah.
it might be this. This
And
is
they're
them
putting
putting
their
their
money
money
on it.
where their mouth is. People are betting
Wow.
that Donald Trump wins Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia.
All right, it says Pennsylvania. It's pink. I mean, New York still is blue. That's sad. Colorado looks a little less bluish. I don't know. I feel like I almost feel like Colorado might be a swing state for the presidential ticket this year.
So the
Everything
bettors,
else, not so much.
the bettors say no.
I know. I don't blame them. I
The
mean,
bettors say
I don't
based on
blame
the
them.
betting, 85% chance. Pennsylvania is saying 67% chance based on the betting.
Wow.
Michigan 62, Wisconsin 64, Arizona 77,
That's wild.
Nevada 78, New Mexico 64, Georgia 77, North Carolina 82. So North Carolina is not swing, but these are people putting their money where their mouth is. Let's see if we
if he can take
go.
Virginia, I mean, holy
Look
crap.
at what the assassination did to the betting markets. The assassination and the terrible debate. These two different ones.
Wow.
Actually, wait, when was the debate? When was the debate?
It was last week.
No, it was June 28th, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's like, God, time's flying by so fast already.
So the debate was right around here. The debate is what caused this jump here for Kamala.
Yeah, and look at that that drop in Biden. I mean, that's a hard drop.
And it wasn't that we think Trump's going to do better. It was that we think Joe Biden's just terrible.
That bad.
He's not going to win. He's going to lose.
Right.
It wasn't Joe Biden. The numbers suggest that Joe Biden is going to lose more than Donald Trump's going to win. But this is the assassination attempt right here. Boop.
Wow, look at all that money shift.
Yeah. That's people putting their money where their mouth is. Now that changes, right? That can change. They don't know anything more than we know. Though I will say, in a couple minutes before they released the JD Vance, the betting markets jumped 20 cents on the dollar. So usually how it is, like you bet 60 cents to make $1, right? It jumped over 80 cents 2 minutes before they made the announcement. So someone got the announcement early, shared it, and people bet. Wow. So that's why I don't like this. It's insider trading. If this was stocks, it'd be illegal. If this was sports, they'd be kicked out of the league and banned forever.
Oh yeah.
But for this, it's okay. Yeah. But for this, apparently it's okay. So people made a lot of money in the 120 seconds before the announcement came out.
Yeah, those bookies, those people in Vegas, they will call your high school former coach to see if they can get a line on you for the game, right? That's wild. I can't believe Colorado is still such a shit show. What the hell, guys? Trying to bring this thing back.
According to the betting markets, it's only a 50-50 chance for Ohio.
Yeah.
The Senate.
Which is why I thought he would probably go for JD Vance. There's something about Ohio they really want to try to capture. Because that's always been the bellwether state.
JD Vance is a senator from Ohio. So if he's not on the ballot this year, the other one is.
I'm seeing that part of it now. Yeah.
So if it's 50-50 whether the other senator's the Democrat's gonna win re-election, and now we're giving another Senate spot up 50-50. You know what I mean? Like that's why I didn't think they'd do that. But
I mean, there's a reason they went with him. You know, I think it's because he just nailed the interview. And Trump will take the best person in the room because that's what he does. He picks talent. Like he'll worry about the other consequences later, but he'll make that choice. He'll just say, "You nailed the interview. Congratulations, son. You're in," or lady, or whatever it may be. Right? But it does make me nervous to give up that extra seat, unless there's some indication that it's going to be a bloodbath in those down ballot races.
This is 538. They're no longer associated with Nate Silver.
Really?
This is not based on polling. It's based on their simulations, their forecast. And I want you to see what their forecast says based on. So this is their forecast, what they think it's going to be, not based on polling. They have not factored in the assassination attempt into this.
They haven't. Okay.
So they are still saying that Joe Biden wins 52 times out of 100 times that they run the simulation.
It's just
just a guess. It's just a guess at this point. The polling says Trump's winning. The money says Trump's winning.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The sentiment, the fervor says Trump's winning. And this is what I was talking about last week when you were like, I still think Biden's going to win. I was like, listen,
I know.
You can run all these polls on will the guy go to the movies if you don't take into account that he just broke his leg and it's not going to hobble out to the movies. It's an incomplete forecast. And all of these forecasts are not taking into account what just happened over the weekend, which is obviously going to give Donald Trump a boost.
I want to be wrong.
I know. We're
I want to be wrong.
We're going to change your mind.
Max, remember how I said when the assassination attempt happened that we were going to see who's who? Mm-hmm. And you're starting to see who's who in the media now, because if they're still running the gambit for Joe Biden inside of polls, putting out positions that are very pro-Biden, totally in the face of polls and stuff like that, are they now exposed as just propaganda shills? Right? Or do we know who's who now? Because if they're really into reporting and having journalistic merit, then they would be reporting what they see, right? Not what they feel. And 538 was just reporting something they feel. They probably got some sort of AI on it, right? That's just running this thing over and over and over. Those things are only as good as the information you input into it. If they do factor in the assassination, what do you want to bet that diverges significantly? Right? They're AI models. And I'm sure there's a lot of people with a lot of AI models right now that are trying to run this thing. And I would be really interested to see what's coming out on their end, because when truly factored in, I don't know if it would be a landslide for Trump, man, but it would be very hard to steal an election where everybody's voting for Trump for the most part.
Yeah.
It just feels like we're going to figure out who's who.
I'm just looking at this. There are still people who don't think Donald Trump was shot.
Yeah, of course they're not. There's plenty of people out there even calling it a staged event, and that each one of the shots was prepared and
they're
ready.
saying that that's not real.
Yeah, and that he ran his fingers across his head with a blood pack. Like I've heard people talking about this, like it's movie magic, and the dude got shot.
And I think what people don't understand is that if this was an AR chambered in 223, which I don't even think they've come out and said it yet, but you can you can make an assumption, but it's not a guarantee. If it was a 223 round, that 22 caliber bullet, so many people have been conditioned to believe that when it hits a human body, it explodes the body.
Yeah.
When in reality, the damage that it does is by tumbling, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the entrance wound. The entrance wound is going to be 22 caliber. Mm-hmm. which is not big. It is 22/100ths of an inch. The entrance wound is 22 caliber. It's the exit wound that will get big if it's a soft tip or
Sure.
or one
Full
of those
metal.
kinds of rounds. Yeah,
You got
a
full
hollow
metal
point or soft
jacket,
tip.
hollow point, whatever it's going to be.
It's not the entrance wound that is a big wound. It's what happens on its way out, and it's what happens inside of the body, tumbling,
Yeah.
shooting around into random areas. It doesn't always go in a straight line. Hits a bone and ricochets in a different direction. Going through someone's ear, there is nothing to tumble through.
No.
There is nothing to expel all of that force. If you ever shot a hollow point at a piece of cardboard, the holes look exactly the same as if you were to fire a full metal jacket round through a piece of cardboard, because there's nothing for that energy to expel into. Right? I
No
guarantee you,
expansion.
if you shot someone's ear with a hollow point, it probably wouldn't even expand.
It probably just
It's
changed
just
trajectory a little bit.
cartilage and flesh, maybe change
There's
the
not enough
trajectory a little
energy.
bit.
There's not enough energy
So,
to deliver.
in fairness, what probably happened to President Trump's ear is he got his ear pierced. I mean,
Oh,
there's a
that's a
hole in his
slice
ear
through.
now.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
it sliced his ear. We don't realize how close this is. Look, his ear is missing, gang. It was cut in
yeah.
half by a high velocity
It's hard to
projectile.
see it with the hair. It's hard to see exactly where it hit. If it hit the edge of the ear, then yeah, he's going to be missing a chunk of his ear. If it hit this kind of softer, fleshier part in the ear, there's going to be a 22 caliber sized hole in his ear.
Yeah. And fortunately, even hitting the soft parts of his head there, the bullet starts to change its angle.
Yeah,
I mean, it immediately
not
changes
as
its
much.
trajectory.
Not as
No.
much as if there was more. In order for it to do damage, there has to be something for it to expel that energy into.
Yeah. And this
And
grazed him in.
yeah,
This is just like a sideways tap. Like, have you ever seen where two things in water and they
yeah,
just kind of hit each other? It's the same thing, right? It just came through and it just slid off the fluid, which is his ear.
yeah.
It's a miracle he did not get shot. Like, if that hits, he has no
He
brain
got shot.
stem.
It's a miracle that he
Right.
wasn't killed.
And
Did
if
you
it was
see
a
the
full metal
Trump?
jacket, it just tumbles inside. It just keeps rolling around
Yeah,
until it comes out the front of the face. Like, it's horrible what those rounds can do, depending on the kind of
let me download it.
rounds he used. Somewhere in their investigation, that bullet has to be somewhere.
The bullet's ability to expend its energy. That's what causes the damage.
Yeah.
It's expending its energy. Otherwise, you're just putting a straight hole into something. A bullet's ability to expend its energy is directly proportional to how much it can expel its energy into.
Yeah.
There has to be a body size like target for it to expel that energy into. You will never get a bullet to expel all of its energy into a piece of paper, a piece of cardboard, piece of leather, human ear. It just doesn't happen. That bullet kept going, as we saw from the picture, where you can see the bullet in frame.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see if that is the same bullet. If it's the same bullet that we saw in that picture. I'm going to play this. I'm going to get that picture. Look at the head tilt that saved Donald Trump's life. Here we go.
Yeah.
Something that said, take a look at what happened. You see,
Oh my God, he moved his head at the last moment.
said, take a look what happened. Said,
You see how that saved his life? The
Yeah.
head tilt? Whether it's that pronounced, it's undeniable that the difference between facing the shooter and going like this, if he looked kind of off from the shooter and not directly facing it, that bullet could have gone into his brain.
Yeah.
That head tilt saved his life. 100%.
All because the guy has a flair for turning his head when he talks.
He was looking at a giant jumbotron with statistics on it.
Oh.
So he's literally looking up at a jumbotron. And if he didn't do that, he very likely could have been dead.
It would have been really bad for him. I mean,
yeah.
He may have. I don't even want to think about the what ifs. What I want to think about now is how the left's going to change in the way they talk about this stuff.
this might have been the bullet.
Yeah.
His head's already turned. That might have been the bullet. This is a guy, he said he was capturing 8,000 frames a second. That's how much he was trying to capture. 1/8,000th of a second was how fast he was trying to capture it. He's literally just holding down the shutter button.
Yeah.
And they had one frame, one photo where the bullet is visible.
That's incredible. I'd mail that to the DNC. I'd mail it to the White House. See you in November. That just blows my mind, man.
Yeah. But this bit, I mean, this is divine providence. I mean, and even the leftists can't even let Donald Trump saying that God was looking over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Because they say, oh, if God was looking over your shoulder, why'd he kill that other guy?
I know.
Why did God? They can't even let him have a religious moment. It's sick. It's an illness.
You know what really bugs me too is that they are willing. Donald Trump was shot at because of their rhetoric, and they're not even willing to change. They're not even willing to commit from KJP that they want to change their tune. Tells you all you need to know about him. I don't think there's been a time like this in our history. How often when somebody gets, well, most presidents get assassinated. I mean, this is one of few very attempts where the person survived. I mean, I'm so glad we're talking about how Donald Trump didn't die. You know, it feels kind of like the multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
In one, it's all different, but in this time, this outcome, he misses, and maybe we finally get some change for our country that we've needed for the better. Right? Maybe it's not all about conspiracy theorists. And you know what's also wild is that there's just, where are all the conspiracy theorists on this one?
Oh, they're out. They're out in force. They are out in force.
Are they? Because I haven't been paying attention to it.
No.
What are they saying? Is it
open up any of the
apps?
It's not that the Secret Service did it. They think that Donald Trump staged it.
Okay. Now I heard that one. That's just the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Then on the right, it's the idea. I still cannot fathom how the nearest adjacent rooftop to an open air event wasn't secured. So then you start wondering, was this a top down conspiracy to make sure that the rooftop was left open? Right? I mean, so those are the two conspiracies that are going out. But the much bigger of the two is that Donald Trump did it himself. They're saying there's three: that he either scratched his ear on the way down, that he had a blood pack behind his ear that he squeezed when he hit the ground, causing the blood to go, or that the shooter shot a teleprompter and he got a ricochet of glass. Even though the teleprompters were intact, they're not letting that one go. They think it was glass.
Kind of hard to swallow. To think that it's staged is the most asinine thing. Even if you had the world's best shooter, being able to hit an ear like that it'd be a 1 in a billion shot. Even at 150 yards.
We're almost out of time. Leftists, Democrats are happy that they chose Vance. They think that is going to help them. They think that is a far right enough pick that'll help them. I don't think they understand just how big of a hole they've dug themselves. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
He has to explain himself, though. He has to explain his never Trump past.
Yeah.
I'm still voting for Trump regardless, right? But I did not expect to see him on the ticket. And I hope he has an explanation for it, because he has said and done a lot that they're already making the rounds with. Well, that's it for this episode. I got to go run and pick up my dogs.
All right, guys. You want to take care of it? Do you need to get out?
No. After this.
Okay.
That's it for this edition of the podcast. Everyone, if you like it, like and subscribe. Wherever you're watching, we go live on Twitter, or Rumble, YouTube. So subscribe. Also have the audio edition of the podcast. Subscribe to that as well. That's it for this edition of the podcast. My name is Max McGuire.
Josh Hammerling.
Remember, the fight to take back the country is not over yet, but the only way we win is if we all stand up and fight together. See you next time.
See ya.